Owen, Aston Villa 3, Man United 1. Humbling defeat. I think there's some quotes there from Ten Hag saying you get what you deserve.
Yeah.
And that's what we deserved.
Yeah.
Attitude not there today. Luke Shaw, I think some quotes there. Lost the game in basically 20 minutes in the first half, 20 minutes second. How do you sum that up? What's your feelings on that tonight?
I mean, I know we spoke about it once the match view ended and we were talking about KG thinking we were one striker away from competing. And I think today's a really good example. And we have seen it in the last few games that we're short. We're still short. You look at our squad depth, it's just not there. And we are going to have injuries. We are going to have suspensions and illnesses throughout this season. And when you don't have Varane in, you miss composure. We didn't have composure today. When people can talk what they want to about Bruno Fernandes and his quality or lack thereof, and sometimes he can be trying the 1% of passes and it not coming off and it frustrating giving the ball away. But I saw a team, particularly in that first half and starting in the second half, that lacked energy.
Lacked a buzz and like a little spark. Yeah.
And sometimes he might deviate from the game plan and he might try stuff again. That's frustrating, but we could have done with that first half, and he would have been the captain if he started today as well, and he'd have been at the players too. And we missed him. And maybe sometimes you don't know what you got till you don't have it anymore, sort of situation. I think that was the case with Bruno. Right-hand side as well, Anthony, he's not playing today. Suddenly we just have no balance. Remember, we signed Anthony in the summer. It's because we didn't have anyone on the right-hand side.
So if he gets injured, we remember we don't have anyone.
We still don't have anyone. And to properly challenge for titles, which is way off for us, you need to have two, as Ten Hag says, two or three sometimes players in each position, whereby if they're not available or they're not playing well, you can replace them with someone else. So we didn't have that. And with that being said, though, to put that to one side, though, still today, we had a situation whereby we weren't good enough. We weren't up for it. We were lethargic. We looked tired. I think the stretch of games that we've been on, how many games did we have in October?
Yeah.
We're now into November. The team looks exhausted.
Catching up with us, it feels like.
A little bit, but still, even so, you Premier League game, new manager, away from it, you've got to be up for it. We weren't up for it today. We weren't up for it and we weren't good enough and we got what we deserved. And even though we still weren't good, we still created chances or opportunities to create chances and we weren't clinical either. So, got what we deserved.
That thing there about the mentality, so like we'll go 5 games, getting some nice points, doing some really nice stuff. Then we get that awakening of where the players maybe struggle to keep that level. And there'll be a few little warning signs before it. Like West Ham, we get by, but, towards the end of the game, De Gea's making saves. Sociedad, you go there and, okay, you have to win 2-0, but we got one, but after that, it was kind of flat.
Yeah.
Different scenario. And today, just not at it. How concerning is it for you that, we are still in a little bit of a position where you're not quite sure that the players are going to be able to keep that consistency up?
It's not necessarily concerning because it's where we are. We know this is where we are at this point. Like we said, we're not the finished article. And we have seen recently in games, we start games really cold. So many times we start games cold and fortunately the team hasn't punished us, or like I said, De Gea makes a good save, or it's just a little bit cagey. So that's just where we're at. We're going to have this season. You've said it a million times, even before the season even started.
Yeah, we knew, yeah.
We're going to have results that aren't going to be great. We're going to have results that in real time you go, what are we doing? And Ten Hag this and Ten Hag that, and the system and substitutions. And I think you can criticise him for parts of that today. You could maybe say clearly the starting 11 he selected wasn't the right starting 11.
What do you think you could have done different starting 11-wise?
I think the 11-week players we had on the pitch at the end of the game might have been the way to go. The problem is with Martial is that he wasn't available, so he could only play 45.
Ease him in,
Only play 45 minutes. So I think, if you're going to try and look at positives coming out of the game today, you would say, well, Martial's back. That's a positive, even though he didn't really affect the game at all. But it's too late by that point. Garnacho looked lively again on the left-hand side.
Didn't he? There was a clear instruction to get the ball out there quickly to him so we can isolate his fullback. And he's not afraid of just getting at his man, is he?
No, he's not. And sometimes it's kind of like his feet are too fast for his head a little bit. The ball gets stuck under his feet. What is interesting with that, though, what does that mean for Rashford? Because Rashford's going to be the starting on the left-hand side, but now he's got competition. But I said earlier on, that's not a bad thing. That's what we want. That's not a bad thing. But again, I don't even know if necessarily you can talk about systems that much, actually, because it was the intangibles. It's your work rate, your work ethic, your passion and desire, right? I know we used to get mocked for it, but what does Ten Hag always say? Follow the rules. And the rules actually aren't tactical. They're just give 110%. Put your foot into tackles. And at one point, Casemiro just did a mad sliding tackle just to wake people up, it felt like. We weren't at it. You look at the goals, they're really sloppy. People not following their runners in, people not defending properly. And again, you can't, in the Premier League, it doesn't matter where you are on the table, it doesn't matter new manager or not, you cannot play like that. You can't have that level of non-application.
Look at. I mean, Ten Hag will be fuming with half time because you get a goal, okay, own goal deflected. We force that luck. Need it. Sometimes you need it for a little spark. That's your wake up call. Then you also get 15 minutes to calm down, go back in it.
Yeah.
You get your manager to get back into you, refocus, calm yourself down.
On the pitch.
Then after half time, he's on the pitch going to Donny, this, that, and the other. Remember what I just said in there?
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
They kick, not even that, well, they kick off.
They nearly scored.
And they nearly score straight away. Then we go up the other end. And again, caught in transition. Easy goal for Jacob Ramsey.
Yeah, and again, that's infuriating. And that is the United of last season. How many times last season did we hear Ralph Rangnick come out after the game and they go, oh, so is that what you were looking for? How are you going to set up? And he went, no.
Of course not. I told them no. I told them.
It's clear. That's what it's clear. Glasses up. That's what he would always do. But and Ten Hag said that a couple of times this season when you asked him in press conferences, is that what you're really setting up to do? He goes, no, no, I don't know what they were doing. And that's got to be infuriating for a manager. But we are in a process where this guy's been in charge for 4 months, 5 months. It's going to be like this, unfortunately. It's going to be 2 steps forward, 1 step back, sometimes 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And it feels like when that happens, you're sticking in the same position. But over time, you are making gradual progress. I understand the expectations are high because it's Manchester United and a lot of money's been spent. But I'm still actually, myself, still happy with where we are under the progression of Eric.
It's another blip, isn't it? It's just another blip.
I still think we're further ahead than I thought we would be at the beginning of this season. I didn't even think we were going to get top 4. I still, after today, think we can get 4th.
Why not?
We can get 4th. If you look at the teams around us in terms of the quality and how we've been playing in recent weeks, I think, and how we've played against top 6 sides, I think we've shown we can beat top teams and we can compete with top teams. But what is it with Manchester United? Consistency. We just have no consistency. You have no idea still what Manchester United side is going to show up. And maybe that's the disappointing part of it today as well. Even those players that we thought were consistent, people like Lisandro Martinez, weren't at it today. And you expect more. And maybe that's a good thing that we finally actually expect more from some of these players. And the standards have been raised.
That's his first bad one. And even then, like there was... It's a bad one for him, coupled with how the results were going and goals were flying in. But he had 2 couple of shaky moments, didn't he?
He's played with 3 different centre-back partners in recent weeks. He should be playing with Varane. Varane's injured. He's playing with Lindelof. Lindelof is ill. Then Maguire comes in. So there's not a lot of continuity there for him, and I can understand that. And like I said, it's difficult to pick out any individual players to say, oh, they played bad, they were rubbish, because the entire team, I just don't think really pulled their weight.
Yeah. And just lastly, going on to Fulham, and obviously Aston Villa again on Thursday. Yeah. How would you be looking to manage the squad with those 2 games? Just go strong and strong again, finish on a high, or do what Ten Hag always does, which is he just picks the best team that's there for that game. He doesn't really look to save players for this, that, and the other.
I mean, I know you always try and win every game, and you want to win every game in every competition, and winning a cup would be great, but I think it's necessary for that EFL Cup game just to rotate everyone. You've got the amount of games we have played at the moment have been ridiculous, and that schedule, even though the Premier League stopped, is not relenting anytime soon because the World Cup's going, and then the World Cup final plays, and 8 days later the Premier League's back once again. Come February, we don't even know how we're going to fit those games in.
Mental.
So I think right now just be a case of EFL Cup, no disrespect to the competition or anything like that, but you've got to rotate the side. That result take care of itself. Get a victory against Fulham, get towards the break for the World Cup. The players are going to be playing then anyway, so they're going to come back tired and then try, maybe, to keep up some continuity come January. But again, I think he should rotate, but it's Ten Hag. I have no idea what he's going to do.